Hey, everybody, welcome to the Free Mind Podcast. It's Thursday, January 18th, and we are interviewing Suresh Annappindi, founder of Xoom Foods. Today, let's hop right in and learn Suresh's story.
Nate, my name is Suresh Annappindi. I'm the founder and CEO of Xoom Foods. Xoom Foods is the nation's first meal subscription service for fully cooked, heat and eat restaurant meals that will be ready in 2 minutes. And I founded Zoom 2 years ago because I saw a need for restaurant meal subscriptions. Today, you can have subscriptions for anything that you want. I mean, from food, clothing, tea, coffee, cheese, bread, wine, oysters. Then I said, why isn't there a subscription service for restaurant meals?
Mhm.
We all love restaurant food. We go to restaurants all the time. It's a $1 trillion industry. But going to restaurants is expensive affair. It takes time. And ordering delivery or takeout is also expensive and also time consuming. And there is some allure to the subscription model. There is a reason why there are thousands of subscriptions for all kinds of goods and products. The reason is they come to your door, they give you the privacy and the convenience to access them, use them any which way you want in the comforts and privacy of your home. So, with that idea, and I being a big consumer of Amazon, I was one of the early customers. I have used a lot of subscription services. I continue to use a lot of subscription services. So, I combined the two. I said, I love restaurant food, but there's no subscription for that. So that's why I started Xoom Foods to address this unmet large market demand.
That's fantastic. And so, without sharing any names or anything like that, since you started this, I mean, are there any other competitors that have kind of followed suit with this, or are you still kind of a dominant figure as far as the concept that you're running with specifically?
Well, I wish we were dominant, but we are the only game in the town at this point. We're early stage company. Launched Zoom in it's a 2 year company, but I technically launched to the public 6 months ago. We were in a beta mode before that for a year and a half, where we learned how to do this cold chain logistics. And I'm not an industry insider. I did not come from the food industry. My background is electrical engineering, semiconductor industry, business school, MBA finance and strategy, worked for a bank, Chase, which was back Bank One then, and did some consulting, did a fintech company called ScoreLogics, a bunch of patents in credit scoring and data analytics and predictive modeling. And down the line, I mean, I was a big uh, lover of restaurant food. And I hated going out for lunches because they would consume a lot of time. I hated deliveries. I would do them, but was never happy with the interaction with the delivery driver, the tipping scenario, which is totally out of control, and the packaging was poor. So all of them got me to a point where I said, nobody else is doing this. I wonder why. And had I been an industry insider, I would have probably resisted the urge to do something because they all said this cannot be done. And being a data science guy, I think in terms of zeros and ones and widgets. And I said, how hard can this be? And it took us a while to get started. And I started Zoom from the background that allowed me to uniquely look at this problem in a different way. And that's how I've been able to solve this thing. But to answer your question, we are still the only company doing this thing. And it's very hard business. There are a lot of intricacies, there are a lot of challenges, and it has taken us some while to resolve through those. So, but in future, I would expect a lot of competition. The prepared food industry is a $1.4 trillion industry. So technically, there could be 1,400 billion-dollar companies in this space, and prepared food industry is growing 3 times the speed of home cooked food. So 58% of spending on food today happens for prepared food that people buy from somewhere. And only 40% of the overall spending on food is spent on home cooked food. So the trend a generation ago, most of the houses would make food at home. Now they make it maybe a few times a week, maybe once or twice, or maybe once a week. So there is this trend where home cooking is going to peter out. And by 2040, less than 20% of the households will make food at home on a regular basis because we have more distractions in life. There are more gadgets, there are more iPads and iPhones and whatnot. So people are going to be buying food, and it's also more efficient. Making food for two people or one person or four people at home is an inefficient way to do stuff. It takes an hour, two, three. But buying food, which is ready made, cuts down on a lot of those hassles. So that's why I think the industry is going to have a lot of competition, but we're still the only company doing this thing. and we will try to maintain a first mover advantage as we go forward.
And with that first run advantage and everything like that, there's also that strain of the education and separation and helping that consumer delineate between the Ubers of the world and DoorDashes of the world and your concept. What's your go-to-market strategy and how you're not necessarily how you acquire customers, but how you interest customers and make them understand the differences in the nuances of your system versus those other systems out there?
Yes, great question. First thing I would like to say is that people are food explorers. I coined this phrase because we have been to airports, we have been to malls, and we have gone into that restaurant for the first time, and we keep doing that all the time. We are intrigued. We like to try new things. We like food novelty. We want experimentation. So that helps us because when we did a small campaign, a test campaign 6 months ago on Facebook, we spent about $2,500, ran a small campaign, and we acquired 15 subscribers. So food is easy to sell because first, like I said, people are food explorers. They're intrigued by a new offering out there. So they look at it. And food is easy to sell because you put a great picture of the food, a real picture, and then tell them what it is. People say, let me try that. They want to try something new. So we are tapping into the psyche of people who already know that there are dozens of meal kits. There are actually 300 meal kit companies, and there are 5 million subscribers for meal kits. So they know what a subscription for food business looks like. They already have tried that. They also have tried restaurant food from delivery companies, or they go to restaurants. 60% of the people in the country today would order a restaurant takeout delivery or would go to a restaurant once a week. So that is 156 million people will experience restaurant food on a weekly basis. So those are the people that we are targeting. And we're saying, hey, there's now a new option for you. You can sit at your home and we'll send you a cold box with not frozen, but chilled restaurant food, which all you have to do is heat and eat. So they understand the concept very quickly, very easily. So it's not a big stretch to convince people that what we're doing. And we succeeded doing that by running a test campaign. So our go-to-market strategy will be to continue on that path. We will advertise more. We will use social media, digital marketing, influence marketing, and obviously press releases and YouTube and TikTok videos. This is a time-tested, proven model on how to present yourself in front of the consumers and explain to them your value proposition. And you keep doing that. There is also a formula that you have to be in front of the consumer 12 times or 15 times, depending on the product and service. And if you are in front of them, if you get that eyeballs to look at your service and offering for those many times, then they're likely to buy from you. Mm-hmm. And then we are going to leverage a team from Blue Apron. Blue Apron, so one of the investors in the company is the former CEO of Blue Apron. And I have a team of ex-Blue Apron experts, digital marketing experts, who will be helping us in structuring our campaign. So we will use a time-tested formula that has worked for all the other meal subscription companies, and we'll do something very similar along the same lines and acquire more customers.
No, yeah, absolutely. And so you're looking at when you're building successful food businesses is always about innovation and change and all that stuff. Are there restaurants from an efficiency standpoint and a marketing standpoint, do they have a separate menu that is going to be offered through Xoom Foods as opposed to their daily stuff? Or is that something that's kind of in the works as well?
No, first of all, there's no separate menu. We curate a menu from their existing menu. So when you do something different, it raises the cost and it also raises complexity. We don't want to do that. So every restaurant has, on average, 50 to 60 meal options listed in their booklet of menu. We don't want all those options. So we have done our own research, and we have found that there are 10 to 12 entrees or dishes per cuisine that are most popular, and they also will refrigerate well, they will travel well, and reheat well. So those are the 4 main criteria. Food has to be popular, it has to travel well, refrigerate well, reheat well, and it should not lose much of its texture or quality or taste and flavor, right? So we have done the research, we have had nutritionists, and then we have done surveys, and we have studied a lot of data that's available on the internet. And based on that, we have found that there are 10 to 12 items per cuisine. And we offer about 7 cuisines today. We offer American, Italian, Indian, Chinese, Mexican, Japanese, and Thai food. So there are 7 cuisines, and each cuisine has about 10 to 12 different options available to you. That's number one. So we are actually giving them a smaller menu options to the restaurant so that they have less SKUs. And so when they get a business from us, an order from us, it could be the Italian restaurant, for example, today has 7 chicken parmesan and then 12 chicken Alfredos. So just 2 items. They're happy. So less SKUs would mean more volume of the same item, and that would make it easier for them to make the food for us and more efficient for them. So actually, that is a plus thing. By not having the full-fledged menu that we bring to our menu has allowed us to give them better pricing, a better opportunity to serve us.
And right now, especially put in a post-COVID world, all that savings and all that extra revenue that you're able to bring in is a plus plus for those. So I'm sure it's not hard to get restaurants on board for your concept at all.
Yeah, let me add one more thing. Restaurants love us for 2 reasons. One, most of the restaurant business comes from foot traffic from a 3 mile radius of where they're located. It's a very local, hyper local business. When we go in, so we become their largest customer, largest repeat customer who's buying every week in bulk from them. So they give us a bulk volume discount and for being a repeat customer. So we are valued. Second, what we do is something very interesting. We don't want the food to be hot. So when we place the order on a Monday morning at 9 o'clock for the entire week with each restaurant, for each day they have up to 8 hours to make our food. And here's the kicker. Most of the restaurants have up to 90% unused capacity between 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. This is a dead time. They don't get much business, but they're still open. They still have people. They still have a kitchen functioning. So what do you do? So this is where they love us because they get to use their capacity that they're not using now, and then make food for us, and then they package in our provided containers and labels and sleeves, and then set it aside, keep it in the fridge. So they have ample time, so they can really walk and take stock of their inventory, take stock of how much work they have, and then schedule making food for us in their downtime. So this nobody else offers to them. Grubhub, everybody wants instant food. Give it to me as fast, as hot as possible. Whereas we are saying no. Make it when it's most convenient for you. Make it in bulk with the least number of SKUs, but do a good job and then package it in a uniform way and set it aside. So that because of that, we also get price break. So restaurants get new revenue stream. So we are sending their food from a Delaware office. We are sending restaurants food all the way from Boston to Florida. So we ship using FedEx and UPS. So our sweet spot is to do overnight delivery between New York and Richmond, Virginia. That's our sweet spot, overnight delivery. But we currently have only one location in Delaware. So we ship to all our customers on the East Coast using 1 day or 2 day shipping. These customers would never go to those restaurants, which are there in Delaware or Pennsylvania or New Jersey. So that is the advantage. They're getting new revenue stream from new customers and in their downtime. So they're all the three pluses that they get allows them to give us a good price and also generate a new revenue stream through us.
You entrepreneurship is something that is not necessarily something that everybody's born with. That drive to go out on your own and things like that. Walk me through 18-year-old Suresh and show me how your life led you right to this moment. A loaded question, but have fun with it. But have fun with it.
Oh, absolutely. I think my friends, my parents, all the people that I know would describe me as a problem solver. I see a problem, I try to hypothesize a solution. And if I think I can take a crack at the solution, then I'll go for it. So let me see if I have any childhood examples. Yeah, so I'm an inventor of sorts in my own right. So I had a class project, a science project where they said, "Hey, build something," and this is in my 11th grade. So what is that? Juniors high. Okay. So I said, okay, so I took out uh, what do you call a doorbell, and I found some glass somewhere. I made a wave generator. So this wave generator, the doorbell would be used as a plunger that would go on a certain harmonics, and then it would be a square bathtub kind of a construct in which you put water, and then the waves would reflect off the walls when they start doing, and then there will be all this patterns that you can create at different frequencies. And this is something it just struck to me, and then I said, let me experiment and then do it. That is the first example of innovation I can think of. But I have been an innovator, problem solver in all my jobs. I have this can do, let me try and see what happens kind of attitude. Being an electrical engineer, again, reinforced the concept of, build hypothesis, experiment enough, do A/B testing, and figure out what works and what doesn't work. And then you can rest your case. Is it doable or not doable? So I'm a man of science with deep-rooted philosophy in math and experimentation. So during my career life, always carried that same ethos, saying, you know what, let's look at it, let's let the data drive the decision making, and the factual present once you do enough experimentation. So I worked for different companies in the semiconductor field as an application specialist and also as a country marketing manager before coming to B school. And then having the penchant for problem solving and for business. And I would like to solve business problems for people, for customers, for the companies. Having an MBA became almost like an imperative. In 1997, came to Boston, went to Harvard Business School, got my MBA, and then I wanted to work for bank because banking in 1999 was just on the cusp of being a completely offline brick and mortar business, and there were forays into the online world. And Bank One at that time offered me that perfect intersection. It was a brick and mortar, typical bank, standard bank, but wanted to foray into the internet banking world. So, and they had opened a new bank called Wingspan Bank, a digital only bank. So I was part of the team and learned a lot. It was fun time. We were the first large internet only bank, and we acquired millions of customers. And I had a small part to play in that role. So having done with banking, then I started some consulting work. I helped companies from Asia set up shop in the US, and then helped US companies find markets in Asia. So that's what I did. And along this time, after my banking role, I always felt that I was in the credit scoring world as well. So in the bank, you're exposed to credit card risk, and then I was part of a team that was responsible for mitigating the high loan loss risk portfolio. So I had seen the problems up close and personal, and it became very obvious to me that most people default when they lose their job, or if they have medical expense, or they go through divorce. So I said, there has to be a way to quantify the job loss problem. It is dependent on the person's skill set and the economy. If the economy is strong, everybody has a job. If the economy is not strong, then there would be problems for certain people, and that can be modeled. So I created a company called ScoreLogics, where the mandate was to create an alternative grade scoring system using income risk score, which was dependent on the economic conditions and the multitude of factors. I have a patent for that, and I also have another patent for another predictive modeling program. And I have two pending patents from that company. So at ScoreLogics, we were the first alternative grade scoring company that developed a forward-looking risk measure using income risk, which nobody had done. Mm-hmm. Long story short, I sold that company to private equity, moved on, and then lunches and meals were always a problem. Loved restaurant food, but didn't want to go for the restaurants, too expensive, too time consuming. That's how the Xoom Foods came along.
Oh wow, that is thank you very much for bringing that together. I mean, that is a quite the lineup there. So it's one of those things that makes complete sense with your history as to why a lot of people get into food and beverage and they start to struggle a little bit in the beginning because of the learning curves and all the other things that come outside. But that's what I was getting back to with the entrepreneurship is you have that solution based logic in your brain, and you can make yourself indispensable to any industry that you go into. So absolutely fantastic. Kind of walk me through the infrastructure of your business right now as far as that goes. Is it who else is involved and kind of without you don't have to share names or anything like that, but kind of what are some key functions as far as what your business is operating with as far as human resource?
So we are a very small team. We are four people. Besides me, there is a restaurant manager, manages the restaurant relationships. There is a logistics manager who works on making sure that the food from various restaurants come to our location on time, or the person goes and he basically takes our delivery and then also driving the food to our location. So there's one more person who does part-time social media and also helps out with the operations. Then I have two offshore teams. One is a data science team, consists of just 3 people on contract, because we do a lot of research, and research is data collection, and research is a continuous operation. And I have a small team, which is an IT team that takes care of maintenance and improvements to our website and apps. We have app for an iOS app and also for Android. So this is the team, the 4 people team here in the US and a 6 people team in India that provide the backend support to us. So how does infrastructure look like? We have a very small 1,500 square foot warehouse and attached to an office, pretty much. And we don't need a big infrastructure because all the heavy lifting is done by the restaurants. We are using their infrastructure and
Hmm.
their downtime, their people to make the food for us. And they make the exact number of meals that we want to serve or ship out to our consumers for that particular week. So it is very precise. There is zero wastage. If we need 60 meals, which would be 10 boxes of meals shipped out, then we'll get exactly 60 meals. There's not one more or one less. We'll order one more extra or a couple of more extra only for quality control reasons, so that we can send it to a tasting panel or test it ourselves on a sporadic basis, just for quality control. So when the food leaves, the containers leave the restaurant. So the person today will go to all the restaurants that have been scheduled to prepare food for us. So let's say 6 restaurants, food comes to a location, we put them in a chiller. We don't freeze them, we put them at 34 degrees temperature overnight. So we still call the food in transit because tomorrow the box will be assembled. So let's say, Nate, you have one Mexican, one Italian, one Indian, one Chinese, one Japanese, and one Thai, 6 meals. So we have procured them all fresh today from all those 6 different restaurants. Tomorrow morning, we'll assemble a box for you. It has nice insulated pads. Everything is reusable or recyclable. There is no unnecessary single-use plastic at all. We use paper-based insulation so that you can do curbside recycling. We use gel packs that can be recycled or donated. So we do a lot of work behind the scenes to keep our carbon footprint low. Well, we assemble the box, put the label, and then tomorrow afternoon, FedEx or UPS will come and take it away. And where are you located, Nate? You're in which city?
I'm in York, Pennsylvania, which is right outside of Baltimore and Philadelphia, right between the two. Yep.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, if you were to get a box, your box will be shipped tomorrow. It'll get you there tomorrow morning.
Hmm.
So that's pretty much it. And all the food, because the way we curate the menu items, you'll get nothing which has a Subway or a bread in it, which will become soggy. So all the meals have been tested, proven, and validated to make sure that, like I said before, it should reheat well, should not become soggy, and then they should have hold up the flavor. So at day after tomorrow, when you get them, you keep all this meals in your fridge. So you have a stack of 6 meals now. Each meal is worth 2 servings. So for the next 5 days or one week, you can have those meals anytime you want. Obviously, the sooner you consume, fresher they are, but they will hold up the taste for one week.
So with your and you're
Does
saying,
that
yeah, absolutely, and I appreciate you walking through the process as if I was the box from the place and been brettoned up, and that's really helps the consumer watch the journey of their food and see how it goes through. It's interesting, like with a lot of the trends today, as far as different things go, drop shipping as being so popular these days. I'm interested as to why you did a hands-on approach with the warehouse as opposed to a drop shipping model where maybe the restaurant would have the boxes for you and they would ship it out directly or anything like that. I don't think either's good or bad or better than the other. I'm just always interested to hear why people chose which path at the road. Yeah.
So remember, I told you you selected 6 boxes, 6 meals from 6 different restaurants.
Hmm.
So no single restaurant can do that.
Yep.
Somebody has to still compile them together. So there has to be an assembly of a box where meals come from different restaurants. So even if you drop ship, even if you hire a third party, somebody has to physically assemble the box for you. So if you hire somebody else, we would not have the control, the quality aspect of it. So by doing it in-house, and it's not a very complicated process, it just takes a few minutes to assemble a box. So we would rather keep it in-house so that
Hmm.
we have complete control on what is being done. It's food, so we want to make sure that it's always kept at a certain temperature, it's not left outside, and that's why we want to keep that control in-house. And we can do that, I mean, because our requirement is only to assemble the final box. The food has been made by somebody else, it's already packaged, we don't touch the food ever. So restaurant will package the food in the containers that we provide to them. So all the restaurants will get the same kind of plastic BPA free
Oh, okay.
high quality containers. They'll get the labels from us, and they have instructions on how to package them. And they make the food 15, 20 minutes later, they put the lid on, put the sleeves and everything, label, and then they keep it in the fridge. So it's never left outside. So that's the quality control aspect we want to bring to everything that we do while the food is in transit from the restaurant to the consumer. That's why we kept this part in-house.
No, thank you for that. That quality and that control is excellent. And you actually even enhanced it even more by answering my other question, which was how do you differentiate the different packaging styles and plating styles of each restaurant? And you answered that completely, that you make it very easy for them to. So thank you very much for that. If, for example, if anybody's listening to this and they want to be a part of Xoom Foods, where is your facility located? And then what sort of mile radius are you currently accepting, let's say, retail partners, restaurant partners in?
Uh, so right now we are accepting restaurant partner applications from a 30-mile radius from Newark, Delaware. So we have about 20 restaurants right now, and there's actually a waiting list of 30 restaurants to be part of our network. We don't have the volume yet, so we'll kind of wait for the volumes to build up. As they scale, then we'll be able to bring on more restaurants. What we found is that each restaurant can make about 100 meals per day for us in the downtime. So that means we have a lot of capacity with our existing 20 restaurant partners as of now. Um, but we will scale. We will, we have great plans for later this year, and at that point of time, we will go through our list of applicants and then work with them to see whom we can onboard. We are very selective though. It's different from how restaurants will go and apply and become partners with Grubhub or DoorDash. Anybody can apply and they get accepted because DoorDash and Grubhub, they're essentially a digital directory of restaurants in a certain city or a town, and they want everybody to be in that directory, right? But
Mm-hmm.
whereas we're driving a lot of volume to a select few restaurants, so we are very choosy, very picky, and then we have our own special requirements for quality, and it has to meet a lot of conditions. We have a 20-point process to onboard each restaurant. First of all, we don't even talk to a restaurant if they are less than 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
We think you have to be of certain age to know what you're doing. And then a lot of other things. We check their social media ratings and reviews and everything. So there's a lot of work goes on even before we approach a restaurant. And even before we approach, we actually do a lot of mystery shopping for some restaurants that we think could be partners. So we will send mystery shoppers at different times. We'll order different things. We'll order bulk items. We'll order single items. So we do a lot of work. And we have tasting panels. We send food to two tasting panels and everything lines up, then we go to a restaurant and say, we actually tested your product, and then we would like to talk about a potential business partnership. And we tell them about what we do, and they fall in, they love it. So the QC aspect is a big one, and how restaurants, go to our website. I mean, there is a form where they can simply send a message saying, hey, we are a restaurant, we do this is our cuisine, we specialize. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do. And we will then contact you back and then we'll start a dialogue to onboard you or put you on a path to being part of our network.
Now, when I know that that you internally, do you get a lot of great feedback for the market research that you're providing them in the beginning? I know it's for you, but also it's a really valuable feedback for them, especially when you're talking about the tasting panel. And then with that question, how in depth do you get on helping them with their outbound marketing of their brand and Xoom Foods, and how do you guys cross collaborate for successful collaborations? Because
Sure.
they're used to you're introducing them. Sorry, you're introducing them to a whole new world by marketing their products outside of what they can tangibly touch.
Absolutely. No, we do share a lot of data. So monitoring restaurant performance is a continuous thing, and then anything that happens about food quality, whether we get great reviews, we share with them. And if when we don't get great reviews for a sort of food item, we share with them more intently with them and say, hey guys, you need to fix something. And most of the times restaurants are, they are very receptive. They have never had an opportunity to get this kind of feedback from anybody and which is data backed from a larger audience. They get individual subscriber or individual customer walks and say, "Hey, I didn't like the pizza, or I didn't like that." But there's no scientific approach to it. What we bring is science-based data, a collection of survey-based data to them, and say, "Your item, this one is doing really well. You guys should probably do this more." And in
Mm-hmm.
fact, some of the restaurants, I mean, when I talk to them, for the first time, they're realizing that they have too many menu items on their menu card. They don't need that. Most of the restaurants actually do 80% of business comes from 10 items. And for the remaining 50 items that they have to keep an inventory. which probably some of it will get wasted, and there's no need for that. So some of them are actually thinking of shrinking their menu. Why keep that one specific flavor of cherry ice cream, which nobody eats, and you have it in your fridge, clogging up your inventory and then space? So restaurants appreciate that. And as we continue to move forward, we'll collect more data and we'll probably be their partners in telling them how to optimize their menu and
Mhm.
then how to use the flavor. Sometimes we got this idea, say, hey, somebody says, if you had put a little bit more cheese in it or this kind of thing. So that is useful information. Everything is possible based on the data that is available to them. So they're willing to do all those things, but they don't know what. So our data is helping them improve their menu dishes that they carry and also improve the dishes themselves by making small changes.
That's yeah. That this has been very helpful, Suresh. I really appreciate it and just inspiring, to be honest with you. It's not often that you get into something where you get to experience a business that is alone in the sense that it is educating and it is carving a brand new path and has found something that is a conglomerately biggest thing and figured out a niche way to make it successful. And on the flip side of it, you're bringing in advantageous data-driven decisions to businesses that don't necessarily always operate in that fashion. And I think a lot of times they get operating gut instincts and their owner operators and they're operating off experiences when today, if there's anything that we've learned, we need to read the data as opposed to our experiences sometimes because it's not as relevant anymore. And I think with the world, the way it's changing, it's we have to keep up and data is the only way for it. But
Yeah, absolutely. The website is very simple. It's xoomfoods.com, Zoom with an X, like Xerox, XOOMFOODS.com. You can look up as Xoom Foods on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We are there. You can also download our app, Xoom Foods, two separate words. Search for Xoom Foods on Google, Android Play Store, and also on iOS App Store. And the apps are very, very intuitive. It's simple to download, and you can try our food. And for your audience, I would love to leave introductory coupon code, if that's okay.
absolutely.
Yeah, at least it will give them something to something of an incentive
Mhm.
to try our food. And I know that once they try it, they love the convenience, value, and the variety that we offer. There's nothing better than being able to heat and eat a fully cooked, delicious restaurant meal in 2 minutes and enjoy it.
Mhm.
So the coupon code would be POP, as in pop, 20. So POP 20, and that would give them 20% discount on the first box that they order.
Absolutely. Hey, thank you so much. And I appreciate it on behalf of everybody for you sharing your time and taking the time for us and sharing your story. It really means a lot.
Thank you, Nate. I appreciate that. You asked
Thank
great
you.
questions.
Are you looking for a way to grow your business, reach new customers, and increase your sales? If so, you need the Freemind Group, founded in 2008 and a provider of creative and strategic solutions for the food and beverage industry. Whether you need branding, marketing, product development, or innovation, the Freemind Group can help you achieve your goals and unleash your potential. Visit our website at thefreemindgroup.com and get a free consultation today. Thank you for listening. See you next time.